All right. WPPM-LP Food for Thought
Better off that way.
live.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Well, I'm ready.
Cool. Okay.
All right.
So here's what we'll do. We'll get you guys back on the mic, and we will. I'm gonna let you know when we're recording,
Yep.
and then I'll give you the James. You'll know.
All right.
All right. So stand by.
I welcome and thank all attentive listeners to this radio special titled Food for Thought, aired on WPPM 106.5 Philadelphia, and also broadcast as well as televised on the cable television network of Comcast, Xfinity 66 and 966, Verizon Fios 29 and 30, which is Philly Cam TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Direct TV. I am the host that goes by the name of James Hatcher. In respect to Philly Cam is a community-based organization of collective individuals who produces contributive content that is overall beneficial for the expansion of community awareness. Joining me in this episode of Food for Thought will be an inspirational individual whose talents are well spoken for, and he is no other than Curtis Lee. So in this edition of Food for Thought, the theme of the topic is selecting the most validated option of creating content should various opportunities present itself. Being attentive to the potential possibilities of producing a specific asset through various processes of engagement compels the individuals to be persistent in actualizing the set result, which is ultimately an accomplishment. Acknowledging that one is presently aware of its existence leads to the interest of purpose. Part of the purpose is to create evidence of importance of being. When one acknowledges its own presence, it seeks things that are tangible to interact with in order to supplement its contributive expressive attributes. And that is the food for thought for this episode. And we will be back after this short music break.
All right. We want to run first track.
Yeah, the first. Yeah, we can do that. Which camera am I looking at?
So this is the view of you.
But can I see myself? That's the camera I'm looking at.
Well, I would say, yeah, you could. It's actually this camera. If that makes
That
sense.
one.
Yeah.
That camera right there.
Right.
Am I looking at you through the camera, through the lens?
So if you're looking in here, then it's gonna be a direct view.
Okay, but I'm looking at you through that lens.
Well, now you are. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. All right.
But when you wanna, talk directly to Curtis, I say feel free. It'll make sense.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll be talking to Curtis at that one right there.
Well, you can actually just go ahead and talk to Curtis, like dead
Yeah,
on.
I can talk to Curtis, but I want to talk to Curtis through the screen too.
All right, I would
So-
say alternate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I could. Am I looking at you, Curtis? Through the screen.
I don't think he can see.
Okay.
you.
I
See it because I don't have it.
Right.
Yeah, you can. Okay.
So I would say when you're doing like this stuff, look at this camera, and when you're in conversation, Curtis,
Okay.
just do it like
Okay,
that.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go.
All right, so we can run the track. Actually.
Okay, so what song do you prefer to run
The
first?
first
All
one
Night Long?
was All Night Long.
All right, so we'll run that, and then we'll come out of it. I'll fade it down, and then you'll reintroduce the show, right?
Okay.
All right, so let me just run it.
Let's see what it sounds like in these right here.
All right, we're back once again at this radio special titled Food for Thought. That was
All night long.
all night
Okay,
long.
I think we'll have to redo that. Okay. Sorry, we gotta do that.
Excuse me.
I won't be able,
Yeah.
I won't be able to clean that up.
Yeah,
All
Alright.
night long.
all night long. All right, I got
It's cool. I'm gonna run this
Yeah.
out for 30 seconds and then I'll start to fade it
you.
down.
Okay, yeah, that kind of caught me off guard. Like I was.
You're good. You're
So
good.
good.
All right. So let's try that one more time, and we'll be clear.
All right, once again, you're listening to WPPM 106.5 FM. I'm your host, James Hatcher. That was a track by yours truly, Curtis Lee, called All Night Long. So now joining me is yours exclusively, Mr. Curtis Lee. How you doing, Mr. Curtis Lee?
What's up, world? How you doing, man? What's up,
Good.
James?
Nice to see you
Good.
and represent. So just tell us where you're from. Are you from Philadelphia or?
So I actually moved to Philadelphia like 13 years ago. I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri, born and raised my whole life. My family, my mom's side of the family is from Louisiana, Marksville, Louisiana,
Okay.
and my dad's side of the family is from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I'm Midwest Southern.
Wow.
Like I'm like right in the middle of everything.
Okay. Okay. So like when did you started like getting into as far as like the production?
So I started music production probably about 14 years ago,
Okay.
and just messing around, not really. I've always did music. So when I was younger, I sang in the choir.
Uh-huh.
You know, I always wanted to play drums, and I always loved music. And then it was just something, just like, why don't I just try it? Like,
Okay.
just go for it. And I just always hung around a lot of musically talented people
Okay.
my whole life, and it was just like, you know what? Let me try this.
So you started off with like church music.
Yeah, so I started off singing in the choir as a kid
Okay.
in the youth choir, and like we traveled and like went to different states with it. I like
Okay.
really got to see like traveling with a group of people,
Right.
and then it went from that to, you know, let me try myself and started writing poetry.
Okay.
And so how it actually happened was I was writing poetry, and I had some friends back home,
Uh-huh.
and we put an R&B group. My friend Hugh Turner, I haven't seen Hugh Turner in like forever. Hugh Turner, and I can't remember the other guy's name. So we all met at my mom's house. It was this lady, she heard the singing. He's like, "Ooh, I'm a music producer and I'm a A&R. We love to, you know, see if y'all can do something." So we all came together, but they only chose me out of the whole group. They
Okay.
only wanted to deal with me. And I was like, you know what? Like, those are my friends. I'm not gonna do my friends like that. So I skipped past that. And then my grandfather was like, you know what, Curtis, you're a big fish in a little pond. You need to
Uh-huh.
get out of Kansas City. And so
At that age.
yeah, I was probably about the age of like 19, 20 years old when my grandfather told me. He was
Okay.
like, you know what? You're very outspoken. I'm like the black sheep of my family. I'm totally different.
Okay.
I don't believe in like everything they believe in. Even though I was raised like everyone else, but I was always the one that in the family that questioned everything.
Okay, I got
And so my grandfather was like, you know what? My grandfather was a bricklayer for 60 some years. And he was like, Curtis, you know what? Like, you're not a normal person. Like, you're not like us.
you. Okay, so
And-
at 19, was you still like with hanging out with your
Yeah,
friends and
yeah,
stuff
I was
like that?
hanging out. I didn't get, you know, I ran the streets.
I'm
you
talking
know.
about as far as like the R&B group that you said that.
No,
you
no.
set up.
So by that time, we had all fell out.
Okay.
And not fell out, but you know, we was growing up and just going our own separate ways.
Okay.
And I decided not to even pursue that because
Okay.
I wanted to take everybody with me.
So
If I
did
couldn't
you-
take everybody, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, so did you provide your own like equipment and stuff like that? Like what type of equipment did you start off at that age to get you into the mindset that you wanted to be able to
My
continue
voice.
to make music?
My
Just your
voice. Yeah. I sang when I was younger. Like I was the guy in school where all the
Okay.
girls would come up to me and be like, "Oh, can you sing the new song that's on the radio?" Like I was that guy.
Okay. I
So
got you.
like I was the singer in school. And yeah, it just went from singing in school
Hmm.
until one day I just got the thing that just let me try to record this and put it on a album. So it was a guy that was from in Kansas City
Okay.
that heard me singing one day, and he was like, "Yo, we need to put you on an album or something." So he brought me to his crib. We wrote a song together and everything. As a matter of fact, I got my uncle Kansas KC Williams on my song, and we ended up not even dropping that song. It was like it was just something basically to do. I still remember the song still to this day. We never actually we recorded it, but we never put it out. We never
Mhm.
did anything with it. And so every time that I would go back and listen to that song, it would mess with my mind. Like this is something that I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew it had something to do with music in my voice.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, so and that leads up to this day where
Yes.
it's doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so when introducing yourself as an artistic creative individual, do you prefer to be referred to as a recording artist, a performing artist, a producer, or any other title?
All of those plus radio show host, CEO, creator. I mean, I do a lot of different things.
Okay.
People may not see it right now, but I do a lot of different things in the city. I build companies, head of marketing. Like I did a whole bunch of different
Is
stuff.
that where the CEO comes into play at?
For the radio station? No, that actually helped because I was the head of marketing for a company here called the Trap House Battle League,
Okay.
and I helped them get signed to URL with Bones and Bill Collector.
Okay, so what's the Trap House Battle?
So the Trap House Battle League is a battle league here in Philadelphia.
Mhm.
That was originated and started by a guy by the name of Ron Mobley,
Okay.
Bones Beats, and a bill collector. Bill Collector is a URL battle rapper. He's been doing it for like 15 years now.
Okay.
And they started a company. And when I met Bones downtown at 15th and Market, he heard me singing on the corner. And he walked up to me. He's like, "Yo, you can really sing. Like, I got this battle league that I'm starting. I would love for you to be a part of it." But it ended up from being me on the first, being one of the first artists to perform there to me being the head of marketing and controlling their Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It just grew into something that I didn't really expect. I didn't. It kind of like just fell in my lap because he needed someone to do it,
Okay.
and I'm a nice person. It's like, well, that'll help me in whatever I'm trying to do, so I can use that on the resume. So fuck it, I'll do that for you. So he taught me how to do it and everything. It went from it started with musicnotch.com and music and Jay and Skeet introduced me. Well, I met Bones, but Bones introduced me to Jay and Skeet, which was musicnotch.com. And then Jay and Skeet introduced me to Fire Chick, which is not Blast Your Thoughts, Air It Out radio station
Okay.
here in Philadelphia. And so
Now,
it
is it an FM local radio station or is it like an online radio station? Podcast?
Music Notch is just a website that
Okay.
artists can send their music to and get heard. But Air It Out radio station, she's like me. She's a internet radio station. She's heard all over. But she's still doing it today. I think she's been doing it almost 20 years now. Because when I started, she was like 9 years. And I've been doing it almost 11. So she's hitting like 20, 21 years doing it now.
Wow.
And she's very well known, like all over.
Okay.
If you've ever been in the music scene, you've probably ran into Fire Chicken Aired Out Radio.
So they're basically like an A&R company in a sense.
No, she just helps promote artists. Basically, what I do with my radio station.
Okay.
She promotes underground artists and you can send your music to them and get played. So I actually worked with all three of these companies, and that's where behind the scene radio came.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so as one who involves yourself in the media,
Yes.
is there a possible contrast between what is considered a radio personnel, a DJ, or a host of a radio show? Is there a difference to you between a radio personnel and who would call themselves like a radio personnel or a DJ or like a host of a talk show?
Yeah, because a host of a talk show just sits on the show like over.
Ah.
She just sits there, interview people.
Uh-huh.
See, I'm a little bit of everything because I interview people, I play your music, and I'm the host of the show.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of everything, but a DJ just scratches and plays the music. The
Okay.
host just hosts the show. And then what else did you say again? The host, the DJ,
the
and
radio
then,
personnel.
and the radio personality is what you do. That's all you do is radio personality. That's it. So I do all three in one show.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. From your perspective, how essential is it to secure your production and content before it is released to the public for listening and viewing? And what can a producer or a performing artist do to secure and protect their work, especially promoting it to be something to be potentially marketable?
So my first thing that I tell artists off the rip is that you have to get BMI or ASCAP.
Okay, and what is that?
BMI or ASCAP is basically a platform to get paid, get your music paid for. I mean, to get paid for the music that you put out.
Okay.
So before you can send your music, like the music that I sent here, that's BMI or ASCAP. So when it gets played on here, nobody can go and steal it.
Well, I agree because me, not only am I a song, a host or whatever like that, I'm also a songwriter. So to me, I'm very much aware of ASCAP and BMI.
Yes.
I'm actually registered as a songwriter with BMI, which is Broadcast Music Corporation.
Yes.
They're like the world's largest performing right, one of the world's largest performing rights organization in the world.
I believe they are the biggest.
Yeah.
Either that or SoundScan.
Right, and they're responsible with the licensing of your music and stuff like that. So I'm very much aware of it, and they use Metabase or whatever like that to keep track of your music that's in rotation and stuff like that. And that's when they're responsible for royalties or whatever like that.
Yeah. But not only just BMI or ASCAP. I would advise people to get SoundScan also.
Okay.
Because there's you're making your music off the radio, and then also your performances.
Now, what is SoundScan? Is SoundScan like something that's dealing with the marketing aspect of the music when you're promoting it? Like, does that have something to do when it goes to the retailers and they keep track of it through some type of barcode or something like that? Is that it?
Yeah, basically,
Okay.
It's the same thing as ASCAP, except ASCAP and BMI is for the writer.
Right.
SoundScan is literally for the radio and them finding your music on radio.
Okay.
I believe, like, I may be saying this wrong, so I'm not always correct about everything, so I may be saying it wrong, but that's what I believe that SoundScan is for. Because the word sound scans, so it scans the radio and YouTube to find your music.
There's another one that I think I'm involved with. It's called Sound Exchange.
So Sound Exchange is where you can put your music on there and find other artists to do work with. I believe. There's so many different things.
With Sound Exchange, I think they have something to do with like something that like BMI and ASCAP do as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think dealing with me, I think it's like with the online platform.
Yeah, because they also play your music too.
Yeah, they keep track of it and everything like that. So, okay, so what would be a tactic that a producer may use to initiate making a song compared to how an artist may start a song?
So a producer, to be honest with you, those sounds that we have in our head come from nowhere. Mm-hmm. See, an artist, when he starts writing his music, he already got sound in his head. A producer has no sound. It just comes out of nowhere. You're just thinking of a sound, you go, try to make it, and then if it doesn't come out right, you can use that or scrap it.
Okay.
But in the artist, you already have a sound in your head when you're writing a song. Or you may be writing some, not all.
Mm-hmm.
Let me speak for all, but some. or most,
Okay.
when they're writing their raps or their songs, they already have a sound of kind of what they want it to sound like. A producer, when he's making music, a true producer does not know where these sounds come from. They come out of nowhere. You
Okay.
just hear these sounds and it's like, ooh, that sounds good in my head, but let me try to put it out here.
So does it necessarily have to come from like an instrument, like a keyboard or something?
No, it can
Could they
come.
use from like a drop from like a water faucet or
Man, I've used.
closing of a cabinet door
Yeah,
or
it
something
can be
like
anything. I've used birds outside of my window.
that?
I've used a drum, like a washing machine drum to make bass, to make the bass so it sounds different. I've used, you know, cups and leveled the cups with a certain amount of water and then hit it just to see what it sound like and then try to. I've used so many different things to make beats. A lot of people think, oh, he's just using.
And it comes out to be
and
a
it,
sound.
and it comes with a sound and you try to create something from that. But what people don't even realize is we don't even know where music comes from. Sounds, we don't even know where it comes from. It's just from the universe.
Okay.
And God or whatever you want to, if that's what you believe in, it comes from nowhere. It comes from your essence.
Okay, so like basically you can say a musically inclined individual, they can use any type of sound within the atmosphere to create something that's harmonic.
Yes, I can use this table with you know in school we used to be on the tables or beatboxing, or you can use the window or the wall or whatever. It doesn't matter what everything is a frequency and everything makes
right.
It makes a sound. So
well, I remember when I was at the train station, I was at 30th Street Station in Philadelphia, and I was like video, video clipping myself, and there was this sound in the background. It had something like the train and stuff like that. It was like the sound of the engine. And when I went to replay it, like, wait a minute. And so I just kept looping the sound, and it made the production. I was like, man, if I could ever put this sound out and everything, yeah, it was different. All right. So, do you think it is more beneficial that an artist has a song already written before entering a recording studio to work with a producer? Or is it best that an artist and a producer makes a song together during a studio session, and why?
Well, it's for me. I'm gonna say for me because I'm an artist. I've been an artist and I'm also a producer. It depends on the producer and the artist.
Okay.
Because first of all, you have to understand when you go inside of someone's studio and it's not your studio, that's time. That's energy. And as soon as they switch on that light, you walk inside that studio. That is time that you're taking up. That's their time that you're taking up. That's another reason why they charge so much. So just in case you come in here and play around, I got $100 off. You feel what I'm saying? I went to the studio as a beginner and just wasted time. Spent $50 and just wasted time and didn't have anything. So what I would advise artists to do is before you go in that studio and you're gonna spend $50, $100, $150, $200, make sure that you have your song down pat before you go in there. Now, when dealing with a producer and an artist and trying to put a song together, sometimes it's cool to not write your song, because I went inside the studio, heard a beat, and like, ooh, I like that. Let me write to that. But 9 times out of 10, I would advise artists to write their music before they go in there, because you're wasting time.
Okay, I got it.
Because a studio wants you to go in, record your shit, and get your stuff. If you like language, they want you to record your stuff and then leave out so that they can have the next person come in. So I would advise people to know your song backwards and forward.
Do you think it helps if an artist, before they go into the studio, have a song that's prepared over like maybe like a pre-recorded instrumental?
Yeah.
Do you think that helps? But at the same time, when they go into the studio, they can't expect for the producer to already have a beat similar to the production that they then maybe wrote a song to on that pre-recording instrumental.
Right.
So that kind of that's kind of like, you know,
Well,
where,
okay, let me explain this, right?
a situation might come because they might expect for the producer to have, you know, a production that corresponds to
To
what they
what they're
already wrote.
there's now if this producer is a good producer, he does.
Okay,
Because man, listen, I have over 600 productions
right.
that no one's ever heard before.
Okay,
That because I've been doing it now for almost 10 years.
okay. So do
Or
you
11
think?
years.
So do you think it'd be efficient if a producer
Could
listens to the artist sing over an acapella
Yeah.
and then make the production over his music?
yes. It could go that way, or the producer could make a beat for them right then and there.
Right.
If you're a good producer, you can make that song, that beat right there because you're listening. If the artist already has a beat, and then he comes in here and it's like, well, listen, this is the beat that I want to use. But say for instance, it doesn't really make the song sound good. The producer could take that beat that you have already
Mm-hmm.
and make it into a whole nother beat
Okay.
and make it fit that song. So you can have your own beat, but then if you have a good producer, that producer can produce a beat for you right then, right there.
Okay.
If they know what they're doing. But then
Right.
also there's also different levels of engineers and producers. There's the beginners. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm in intermediate. But then you got the Timberlands and the Dr. Dre's. When you go in there, all he got to hear is just a verse, and he probably already got something that'll go to it. Oh, I got to be just for that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's different levels to it, and
Right.
you know, so you can't. Every artist is not going to be the same way because they're developing into the person that they're trying to become. So, but what I would advise artists to do is before you go in that studio, make sure that you got your song already done. Make sure that it's in your head so that when you do go into the studio,
Yeah,
if you do have to
course.
change beats, you could always go, you know what I'm saying? You could always fit it into the beat wherever and switch it and slow it down or whatever you got to do to make it fit.
Of course.
Yeah.
Speaking of production, can we get into another track of yours?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, would you like to introduce the next
Oh,
song?
what was the next one that we had lined up for you?
That's gonna be so mixed up.
What did you say again?
So mixed up.
So mixed up. So mixed up is like literally what it says.
So mixed up.
The beat literally is all mixed up, but I brung it all together. You when you listen to it, you can tell like it's all mixed up, but then it all comes together.
All right. So okay, let's get into the track.
So mixed up.
So mixed up. And once again, you're listening to WPPM-LP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. This is James Hatcher, got my man Curtis Lee.
Sure.
So let's go into it.
Let's go. That bass line is hard. It sounds so totally different in headphones than it does in my house.
Yeah, I know.
Totally different. It's like I gotta turn that bass line down. That mug is crazy.
Wow.
It shouldn't even be hitting like that. That mug sounds crazy. Like you gonna blow your eardrums.
Yeah,
and
it's
shit, I
pretty
think.
easy.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna start bending it down.
All right, we are back. Once again, that was so mixed up.
Yes.
I didn't hear anything mixed up about it. That was something that was riding. You
Yeah.
know, it sounded like something I would just hop in the car
Oh,
and
and
just get on
ride
the
to.
expressway with.
A lot of my music, that's basically what I'm gonna be honest with you. When I first started making beats, it was just to have music
Mm-hmm.
to be listened to. I didn't want to listen to someone else's music. So I
Right.
just started doing it on my own. here I am today.
Okay, so like, do you think that if somebody was riding with that, that would affect the way they drive and they go from like 15 miles per hour,
Oh, for
20
sure.
miles per hour to like 55,
For,
75,
for sure. Listen, I did it on my own, and even
without
walking,
even thinking about it.
and even walking, trying to get somewhere faster. I put certain beats in my head to make it go because the beat of the music. Because what people don't even realize is that music actually really is hypnotized. It's really mind control.
Yeah, it does affect your emotions.
It does, and you don't even realize it until
Right.
like you're already going to do whatever you're going to do, and then it's like, wait, hold on, you took control of my body.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. Would you share the many facets that a producer may use as to the techniques used on sound equipment to an artist? And do you explain to the artist what equipment is being used without the tendency of teaching the artist how to produce, as to explain why a specific sound would be preferred to a specific style of lyrics that is expressed?
Yeah, so a lot of the time artists don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to rap. Because we live in the year 2023, so a lot of people don't care about that. They just want to make a song, they want to sound hot, put it out there so that their friends can, you know what I'm saying, so they can get some viral likes or comments, you know what I mean?
Okay.
They really don't care about the techniques that take to make the music. A lot of them do not.
Right.
Not saying that all don't,
Right.
but a lot of them don't even care. They don't even, as long as the beat hot and they bob into it, that's all they
Okay.
care about. But it is important for artists that want to know that because I wanted to know that I would like, for instance, as a kid, my uncle, my uncle's an R&B, a rap artist.
Okay.
My cousins are all, and so they used to take me to the Zoo Studio on 42nd and Truth. For anybody that's listening, that's in Kansas City, 42nd and Truth, next
Okay.
to Earl Moore's funeral home.
Okay.
And I was like 15, 14 years old, going in there meeting Tech Nine and Rich the Factor, and it was a whole bunch of different artists, the whole Zoo crew, and Boogeyman, the beat producer, and everything. And I'm in there, and so I'd be listening and watching them, and I would like sit back and just watch them do everything. And that's another reason why I wanted to get into it, because I actually would see them create sounds from nowhere. Like I would watch Boogie just on this beat machine. And you start messing. I can't remember which one it was, the big one. He'd get on his beat machine and start messing with it. Just hit little buttons or whatever. I'm like, dang, how did you do that? Like, what is that? He would try to explain it to me, but at the time he didn't really have time to do it. So a lot of artists do want to know how to do it. But what I would advise artists to do is go to school for it.
Either that, or if they don't have time to go to school for it, either that, or do you think that is beneficial if they watch?
Yeah.
If they really attentively watch?
Yes.
Like what buttons is being pushed and everything like that.
But even though you may be watching the buttons that's being pushed, when you actually get there and start doing it yourself, you actually really don't.
Right.
Because when I started, I watched them do it for years.
Right.
I was always in the studio, so I watched them years.
Right.
But when I wanted to start doing it on my own, I literally had to teach myself. And some things I don't even know. I know what it sounds like.
Right.
I know what buttons to push, but I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it
for
the love of it.
So do you feel like that is beneficial on the behalf of the producer to just at least give them a little bit of heads up on suggesting that they should learn a little bit, even read a little bit about production? Does it make it a little bit more beneficial for the producer, and how?
Well, it makes it beneficial for the producer and the artist because you want to know what you're getting yourself into. You don't want to just be an artist and just get into the music industry, get your 360 deal and get done over. You want to know the business before you get into it. I'm still learning I want to learn everything that I can. A wise man knows that he knows nothing. So I don't really know much about this, but I'm learning as much as I can every day that I do it. And I would advise the artist to learn a little bit about production, not only production, but the business side of it also, because you don't want to get into this game and not know nothing about it.
Right, and be completely dependent on
Everyone
others.
else, and then you get done like R. Kelly.
Yeah,
or other artists.
well,
out
not
there.
even just that. It's just like it might be like a stumbling block to the growth and development of the artist.
Yes.
And by the artist, really seeing the significance of what they're doing by learning, then they'll see the full benefit of them being an artist. They'll take it more serious than just having something to do just to occupy the time, and
Yes.
then the reality kicks in where they might not feel like
This is it for
yeah,
them.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, so how important is having the knowledge of timing when it comes to the patterns, sequences, and consistencies of making a certain sound, such as tone or a drum line when producing a melody or an instrumental information,
Yeah.
and why?
Very important. You have to know where your hooks come in. You got to know where the hook stops.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know, should I put a sound right here? Should I put the bass line right there? Basically, you're wanting to learn how to put the songs together, the beats together.
So indirectly, you saying that mathematics, in a sense, is in play when you're considering like the
Well, yeah,
patterns
because you got to
and
know,
sequences.
because you got to know, where the hook stops.
Right.
What I'm gonna just tell you how I learned. Just how I learned. I went and I started listening to Dr. Dre's
Okay.
and just songs, and I would measure. Okay, where does the hook come in? How long did that take? That's 30 seconds. All right, so then I go to mine.
Right.
Start making the beat. 130, a minute and 30 seconds. All right, well that's the first verse because the verse is the first minute.
Right.
First 60 seconds it could be the verse or the hook.
Right.
Well, it would be with the verse and the hook.
I think every song is regulated anyway with timing.
Yeah, each song is different.
Any song.
Yeah, it can be different because it could be a minute and 30 seconds for the verse,
Mm-hmm.
and then it can change. Each song is different. If you listen to one song, that's why some songs are 3 minutes long, some songs are 5 minutes long.
Okay.
You ever pay attention to that? Not
Right.
all songs are the same length. They're all different lengths because maybe the verse is a little bit longer, the hook is a little bit shorter, or you know what I'm saying? It just all depends, but you need to know where everything goes.
Okay.
You need to know where your bass line comes in at, where to drop the bass line, and so that you only hear the tweets or the mids.
Right.
Or then you want to put your subs in there, but you got to know where to put the subs at, and if it's gonna sound right. And that all comes from just sitting at home making beats. I did it for years, just sitting at home making beats, even the ones that sound whack. I got many of them that's trash. I wouldn't even let nobody listen to. But it's some that, oh man, this is a work of art right here.
Right.
But you have to learn, and it's all about trial and error, learning, messing up, making mistakes, and learning from your mistakes, and then taking that and harnessing it and using that energy, and then giving it to someone and say, well, let me know what you think.
Okay.
And 9 times out of 10, if you put your heart into it, they can hear that you put your heart into it.
Right.
If it's just a whack beat, then it's like, but it could be a whack beat and you still hear the potential of the beat.
Okay. All right. So if we can, I would like to listen to another what can we put on?
Brandy dessert.
Brandy for dessert.
Brandy for dessert. Now, how did you come up with that?
Hang on. It's like I think there was some bleeds. So go ahead and.
Now, how did you come up with that brandy for dessert?
Brandy for dessert.
Is that a name?
I think that
going by a drink.
I think that I was drinking that day.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I
got so many beats. I think that I was drinking that day, but it was more on some sexual. The woman brandy for dessert.
Okay.
I believe if once I hear it, when we come back.
So you was drinking brandy, talking to a female named Brandy or something like that?
No, I think that I was just thinking about a girl named Brandy that I used to mess with.
Drinking brandy.
And I was drinking that day. And I was thinking about this girl named Brandy. And it just came, I believe let me hear because I got so many different beats. So let's
All
listen
right,
to it.
well, let
and
us
then when we
all
come back-
hear it. Brandy, for dessert. Once again, WPPM-LP 106.5. You're listening to Food for Thought.
Sure. Which one is it? Oh yeah, I remember when I was making this beat. No, it was just the instrument that it was called. The instrument was called Brandon. I just went with that.
What do you think?
The instrument was called Brandon.
Oh.
It was the sound. It was the sound that I was using, and the sound was called Brandon.
Okay.
And I just went off of that. That's what.
Okay.
It sounds totally different here.
Alright, we'll fade it down in like 15. Alright.
Just cut off like that.
All
It's
right.
it's paused. I'll create a fade. I don't know why it's doing that, but
Okay.
let me just hang on. Let me see if I can get
Is it pause?
yeah, it did just pause. Hang on. Let's get it back. Let's go. Here. We're at 57. Let me try this one more time. Yeah. Hold on. Bring it back. Try to. There you go. Alright. Okay. Alright, stand by.
All right. Now that I like that. That's an excellent production, excellent song. And that is called
Brandy for dinner.
Brandy. Brandy for dinner or brandy for dessert?
Brandy for dessert. My fault. Yeah.
Dinner and dessert.
Yeah, dinner and dessert. And I think that just came from before we went on break. I was trying to figure out. So I think that one, the instrument that I was using was called Brandy, and I just went with that and just went off the top of it.
It was an instrument.
It was the type of instrument that I was using, the sequence that it was in, and it was
On a keyboard or
No,
was
it was-
it like a
it was the
guitar or
No, basically it was the sound of the instrument.
okay.
And so when I make beats, I buy different sounds. I
Okay.
spend on sound,
Right.
and that sound was called Brandy.
Oh, okay.
And so I just went with Brandy for dessert.
Okay. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you base your production on a specific type of genre like R&B or hip hop, or do you tend to various sounds to integrate into any sound any kind of genre that already exists from what is in the mainstream? Do you like just like strictly just deal with like yeah, or do you test run just by like listening, maybe turn to a certain type of music, like a different genre, and then try to make a production over that,
Yeah.
whether
So-
it's local or international?
Yeah, so I make all genres of music.
Okay.
R&B, jazz, rock, country. I do it all.
What about across seas, like the music that they play across seas?
I've got some of those too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I got some Arabian sounding hip hop. I got a little bit of everything. Jamaican, a little
Wow.
reggaeton. I do a little bit of everything. Because you have to be one. Let me say this to all the artists that's out there right now. You have to be versatile in the
Mhm.
music industry. They don't just want rappers.
Right.
They want rappers that can sing and produce and act, and you can do a whole bunch of other stuff.
Right.
Because they're looking at you as money. How
Right.
much money can you bring into them?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that is one reason why I am not at the top right now,
Okay.
is because I'm not willing to give you all my skills, everything that I have. I'm not going to
Okay.
do that.
Right. I got
So-
you.
But in the music industry, I sing.
Mhm.
I don't know how to rap, but I can use music production. So that's
Right.
only two things. And I'm a writer.
Right.
I'm a writer.
So you basically saying that an artist should be diversified
Yes.
when it comes to different sounds. Does that tie into maybe the different venues that they might,
Be
you
able to
know,
get into.
yeah,
Yes, for
into
sure.
at different, locations and stuff like that?
For-
That broadens their so-called horizon
For sure.
for them to be diversified.
Yeah, let's take Michael Jackson or Chris Brown. Talking about young kids. Let's use Chris Brown.
Mhm.
Chris Brown has R&B. He can rap. He can dance. He can act. He does pop. He
Mhm.
does. I think I heard a rock and roll song. No, not rock and roll. Pop. He does R&B. I've heard of jazzy. I've heard the house music that he got the one house music song. You have to be versatile. And if you look at Chris Brown, he's on all top tens, all top 100s
Mhm.
in all genres and whatever genre that he's doing because he's versatile. I believe there's only two artists right now that are even compared to Michael Jackson, but also look at Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was a producer, singer, dancer, performer. He did a whole bunch of different things all at one time. You feel what I'm saying? And when you went to go see him, you knew you was getting a show
Okay.
because he was going to be able to do everything.
Right.
For you. And he's always been, they call him the pop king, but you would think that he's R&B.
Right.
But no, he's the pop. He's the king of pop.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? As melanated people, like, we're not used to pop music, but that's who he is. He's the king of pop because he made all genres of music, not just R&B, not just slow music. He did a little pop, he did a little house music, he did a little bit of everything. You have to be versatile in the music industry because they're looking for someone that can do everything. You got to be able to be versatile.
Right. Right. Okay. So with a lot of producers in the music industry that produces to a similar group of genres, what do you think is the likelihood and what would it take for a producer to create a sound that may lead to a new form of genre for songwriters?
That's a good one because see, what I do is I mix sounds. So I'll take a sound that's trap and mix it with some jazz, which the next song, the next beat that we'll be listening to of mine,
Right.
is a grown and sexy beat, but it's a jazzy and it's trap music put together.
So do you think by doing that could possibly compel an artist to like write a different way that they were usually write?
Oh yeah, for
Which
sure.
Formulate
For sure, because dealing with a lot of different artists that for instance, my friend Trap Man Kane, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I go to Trap Man Kane and I send him a beat, I throw him something that's not what he's not used to.
Right.
Because I'm trying to help him branch off into something different. He's a rapper, but let's try something else. Let's see if he'll like that.
Okay.
Got a couple songs that I got with him. And not both of the two songs that I have with him, they're both sound totally different.
Right.
It's two totally different sounds. Other artists that I've dealt with, and even other artists that I deal with, when they ask me, "Well, Kirk, can you send me some beats?" I never send them the same type of beat,
right?
Because I want them to be versatile. Give me something different. Don't give me the same thing that we've been hearing on the radio. Like T-Pain said, we already got a baby. We got a little baby. And what's the other baby? And now we got all these babies. Something different.
Right.
We want to hear something different. And people that listen to music and that love music, we want to hear things that are different. We don't want to keep on hearing the same thing. Right. That is the reason why an artist will blow up, and then 3 years later he's no more because you're doing the same sound. We want to hear something different, versatile, try something different sound.
Right. Right. Okay.
And I believe that's one of the reasons why Chris Brown is one of the biggest artists now because he's versatile.
He's been out there for a while.
But the people that are around him let him know, yo, Chris, you got to do something different.
Not only that, he's around a lot of people that's diversified too.
Yes.
So that's a good thing.
Yes.
All right. So do you think that it is less efficient in writing lyrics if each time there would be a fluctuation or a time lapse of seconds between each tap or bass line from how the lyrics is projected over it? Like, do you think, like, say, like, the first part of the beat is like 3 taps, tap, 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 and then the next is like tap tap
You
tap
switch
tap
it.
tap 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 tap
Mhm.
tap 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 tap. Do you do you think it's like can do you think it's efficient for an artist to write to
Yeah,
that?
Now I got something for you, right? So, Method Man and Redman had came out with a TV show. They was trying to start this TV show, and this when Ludacris had first started. Now, to me, Ludacris is one of the best lyrical. He's very like people forgot about who Ludacris is because he started doing movies.
Mm-hmm.
But when Ludacris came out, every album that he dropped, he was hot. Like he switched up and everything, right? So Redman and
it was very creative with his video.
very creative. It was always different, right? So Method Man and Redman, they never dropped the whole show. They only did like a couple shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember the name of it, but they had Ludacris, and the beat that they gave Ludacris was so whack and so off.
Oh, I think I seen
but
that
it was
one.
hard
Yeah,
for anyone to do it.
Yeah, I
but
remember
Ludacris did it though. He did made it sound, and the beat was whack though.
Right. I remember that.
The hits were off.
Mm-hmm.
The hi hats were off.
Yeah.
The bass line didn't have a bass line. It was just all.
Yeah, I remember.
And he got on there and he did it, even though he got what is it called? Can't think of the name of the show, but so they came out at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And Method started rapping and said, "Oh, this is just a joke." And he was like, "What? You have me do all that?"
Yeah.
But basically, it showed that a true artist can rap to anyone.
Right.
When I run into artists and they be like, "Oh, I can't rap to that," they're whack.
Mm-hmm.
They're not hot as you say that you are.
Right.
Because
so there's a lesson behind that too.
Yes, if you're really hot, you can rap to anyone.
Right.
It doesn't matter how. If Ludacris can do it, and you say you're the hottest artist out here. Oh, I run into a lot of artists, a lot of rappers, young people, and I play a beat for them and be like, "Oh, that's a whack beat." But then you're whack beat.
Mm-hmm.
Because if
or
you
it might
can't
be
rap,
an excuse.
It's an excuse because
right.
maybe really you can't do it, or really you're just faking. You thought that I was playing.
I got you.
Because I run into that a lot. I run into people, "Oh, this is what I do." I'd be like, "Well, can I Google you?" "Oh, no, can I Google you? Can I find information on you?" Because if someone is saying that they're doing something, you can go Google them. Because if you're really putting in that work, I can go Google you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If not, then that means that you're not putting in the work. Because everything that is on Google, I ain't putting none of that stuff on it.
I got you. All right. So in a scenario where as a music producer is traveling and does not have the opportune time to be in a full-fledged recording studio and has the desire to make a music production, is there an application that they can use on either a laptop computer or even a cell phone to accomplish a production?
Yes. So a lot of the times that's what I use. I use Pro Tools, I use Soundtrap, and I use BandLab.
Okay.
So BandLab, there's a guy that made a song, a beat for someone. He made $3 million off of an app.
Oh yeah?
It's called BandLab. Go look that up. BandLab.
Okay.
Soundtrap, or you can even get Pro Tools on your maybe not on your phone, but if you have a tablet.
Okay.
So that's what I use. I use Soundtrap, BandLab, and Pro Tools.
Okay. So being that we're at the station and we're not in a recording studio, are you still able to give like a sample of like what you use and everything in order to give us an idea on like how you can formulate a production just out of
nothing,
out of inspiration?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got because you all told me, so I kind of was working on one early this morning. I woke up early this morning.
Oh yeah, is that early? So
I woke up like 10 o'clock, and it was for a producer. It doesn't take much.
So you got a newborn production here
right now, right here, right now for you. That I haven't even put. I only got 2 minutes of it, and it's not even fully put together like it's.
Well, it sounds like it needs to be fed some more taps and beats. So do you think that you can feed?
Yeah. So I can give you a little sample of
feed the need.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see.
And as you're doing it, explain to the listeners and myself, like what are you doing as far as integrating.
All right, so
different
I'm about
sounds?
to add some hi-hats. So right now, that's just the kick.
Is that what it's called, a hi-hat?
No, the hi-hat is about to come in. So what you're hearing right now is just the piano
Uh-huh.
and the kick
That's
and the
the
snare.
tag.
Now this is the hi-hat coming in right here.
Okay.
That's a hi-hat, right?
So how do you define the hi-hat?
A hi-hats are the
Oh, okay.
those are hi-hats.
Okay.
Then you got toms, or even now you'll hear it come in right here.
Okay.
Those are toms.
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 Is that like
It's the instrument.
right?
Yeah, it's a tom.
That kind of sound like what you call it?
Yeah,
Sort of
yeah,
like tropical
Those
bongos.
Those
or
are
whatever.
tall toms.
Tom.
Yeah. It was short for I can't think of the name of what it's called, but it's short for that.
So when you're on this part right here, right, and you explaining about the toms, do your mind goes into like a visualization of like a different location? Like when I hear this, like I could actually like kind of like subconsciously visualize myself in the tropics.
Yeah.
So now if you could visualize yourself in the tropics, what if you like wanted to hear, like how you hear certain sounds in your head? Is there a way that you could add, like, I'm not saying do it now, but like to add like the winds? Do you go back and add like the winds?
So
and stuff like that?
I add all different listen, by the time this beat is done, I'll probably go through like 100 sounds.
All right, so add another sound to this.
Right, so
not just freestyle, but is this what you consider freestyle?
Yeah.
On a production?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's gonna be that's the guitar.
Uh-huh.
Then it's gonna go to the kick and the hats. Then it'll go to the hi-hats and the toms.
Okay.
See, that's the kick.
Uh-huh. This is all exclusive.
Yeah, it's all exclusive. Ain't nobody heard this yet. This is all new. Ain't nobody heard this yet.
Well, we're hearing it now.
You're hearing it now. All right, so then you got your hi-hats that come in right here.
Okay.
So, and see, remember how we was talking about timing?
Right.
And where everything is supposed to go?
Right.
That's what this is. I had to literally sit there and know where everything came in. Then there's the toms that come in next.
Okay.
So basically you're developing it to get to where your hook comes in.
Right.
So this would be the verse right here.
Okay.
This is the verse.
Okay, but now what if you wanted like to incorporate like a bass?
It comes right here.
Speaking of. Okay.
Then you got to throw something weird in there. So I always throw like weird sounds in there somewhere.
All right. But it doesn't be like weird enough to throw like an artist off.
So the weird sound is going to be this right.
Okay. Wow.
It sounds like a It sounds
something like you hear when you walking down an alley the wrong way down the alley in Philadelphia, like.
Right.
Okay. So doing this,
yes.
How do you feel like this is essential for like to keep you grounded as far as a peace of mind and a person, a purpose?
Okay, so now that I do this, my children want to do it now.
Okay.
They watch daddy do it.
Right.
And so now they want to try it out. So it keeps me grounded. Also, when I'm stressed out, this is what I do. So
do your kids automatically have an inclination to do it? Because I got kids too.
Yeah. So
my kids, my one son, his name is Quelijah. Shout out to Quelijah. When he was like infant, I used to put the headphones
Yes.
on his head.
Yeah.
And the first time I did that, he looked like he was like his
Yeah.
eyes,
It's
But
like
then he
his
started
mind
making the,
opened up.
he started like starting to make the sounds. But now he's just
Yeah.
amazing. Like I'm like, Dad,
So
like
my
I
youngest-
produced something like this
Yeah.
to the point where now it's like I take it serious that he takes it serious. I mean, he's not doing it too much like full fledged right now because he's dealing with his transition of the his age
Yeah.
and his maturity and developing how to balance out his responsibility to be independent, but as far as like his natural endowment of the music, just like being
Children.
exposed
Yeah,
of it,
children can
like
take in
he's
so
so
much more.
natural with it. I'm like, Dad, I'm like I'd be listening to it like his music, and I'm like, I'd be feeling the pride and everything like that. I know where it comes from,
Right.
but at the same time, it's just like it's still amazing the
Yeah.
way my son Elijah he's serious about it.
That's
But
the same thing with Tristan, right? So when he was first born, I would say the age of 4,
mhm,
first time that he got on a pair of drums, a full set of drums. Never played drums before, but he kept the beat and everything. So and then my oldest son, he's always liked music.
right,
My oldest son Logan, shout outs to Logan, he turned
Okay.
21 next month.
okay,
And my
same
youngest-
age as my
And my
son.
youngest, he turns 11 this